Hello my quilting friends, and my goodness, it's February and we are on block 3 already of our Billie sampler QuiltALong. Block 3 is a drunkard's path. Curved piecing is not my favorite. I don't like the drunkard's path, but I used a unique method. I'm going to explain that in a few minutes, but I'm also attaching the templates for you to do traditional curved piecing, and there are many videos on YouTube on how to assemble a drunkard's path block. So we will get into the block and I'll explain what I did, and I hope you like it. Okay, here is our drunkard's path block. You will notice the grid. It is 4x4, which is would make 16 blocks in total. Because we're working with 12-inch finished blocks, each one of these in the grid would have to be 3 inches. So each one of these blocks sub-blocks you make need to be 3.5 inches with your seam allowance. So like I said, I am including a PDF with the traditional pieces for the 3.5 inch blocks to traditionally curve piece each one of these. And the method that I chose was a little different. I can't remember where I found it, if it was a YouTube video or a blog post, but I thought I would try it. A couple of years ago, I did a challenge with the drunkard's path, and I did not like it at all. Previous to that, I did a block of the month with Dragon Heart's Quilt Shop and Susan Madhu, which had a drunkard's path block, which I actually did the curve piecing. That did not work for me. The last one I did, I used my embroidery machine and did satin stitch applique for each of the sub blocks. This one, however, I did, here's the finished block. I did applique, but I used 7-inch blocks, which cut in quarters would be 3.5 inches, which is what we're looking for. And I put a 4-inch circle in the center of each of my blocks. And if you notice the green, I used this pink batik, and the yellow, I used my white background fabric from Maywood Studios, and the red is a Macawer dot fabric that I had a fat quarter of, and I thought it would work really well. So I made 4-inch circles, put them in the center of the block, and then cut it and blanket stitch down. The blanket stitch is 2 millimeters by 2 millimeters, meaning the blanket stitch is 2 millimeters wide and 2 millimeters long, which is a very close blanket stitch. But as I want this quilt block to be used, I thought it would be nice and secure and make everything stable. I think it's a little messy, but I despise the drunkard's path block, excuse me. But I had to make this block, and what I'm trying to do with this quilt is do one difficult block a month and one easier block. So this is the difficult block of the month. I am glad it's over with and it will be done. Now, also attached, if you want to use the method that I used with the circles in the center, I am attaching another PDF with 4 4-inch circles so that you can stitch them on your fabric and cut them out and turn the edges. And I will explain that in the blog post. I put stabilizer on top, sewed around the edge, cut with basically a 1/4 inch, and then clipped the water-soluble stabilizer and turned right side out. And then I had my nice circles, and it worked. If you have other methods of making circles, then that is fine. I have a Fisker's circle cutter. I broke it. I finally took it out of the package and it broke while I was trying to cut these. So I just gave up, went the old-fashioned way, and made my circles with paper. I know Martelli has circle templates. I have not used them, but they're supposedly great. I don't have them, but I am not a big fan of circles, so that's why I don't have them. But this block is done, and I hope everyone has a great month. And our next block is a traditional Ohio star, which has 1/4 square triangles, which is another new technique that isn't so new, but I use my Martelli templates. I used my Martelli template to cut my 7-inch squares, and then I cut them in quarters. I think it turned out okay, considering I do not like Drunkards path. So this block is finished. We will move on to the next block. Everyone have a good one. Bye.